Hey guys, Revamp here and I'm here. Today we will be looking over card readers. I will be fixing a card reader on a Nintendo DS Lite. It's very easy to do, and I will not be using a heat gun. I will do everything with a soldering iron because most people don't have the luxury of a heat gun, or if you're like me, it has a mind of its own and it's not always easy to tame. So this is what a good looking card reader looks like. You can see those pins are very straight. Over here it's a little more jagged and funked up. This makes the card reader really bad at reading games. Next I just have some of the tips for the soldering iron for this job. These are typically the three to go with. It really doesn't matter, it just makes the job a little easier. First thing I'm going to do is try to get the card reader up a little by heating up the sides and sticking this little thing underneath it. Don't use too much pressure or you'll rip the pads, and the back of the card reader will get hot because it is aluminum. I'm just used to the pain and the burning, so it doesn't really bother me too much. And the tabs are loose. This is good. This means we can start heading towards the back tabs. So as you could see, now we have a little space between the board and the card reader. So it's kind of the same procedure. I'm just going to tap the back of the card reader. Next is what I do to get the pins off, because I don't like using the heat gun because I don't want to blow away any capacitors or fuses or something like that. So I just kind of put some flux down, heat it up, rock the card reader back and forth very carefully. Now we're going to be doing the exact same thing, except I'll be doing it the right way because I don't want to risk ripping up pads or damaging the board, because this is actually the board we are going to be selling. So I'm going to use the soldering wick to take up the excess solder correctly, how it should be done. So then it's just the same thing. We just add some flux and rock a bye 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 baby. When you're rocking off that card reader, make sure you don't take this cute little capacitor with it, or else your DS won't be working no more. That's a double negative. I mean, it won't work. Will cease to function. And now I'm just going to take the soldering wick and clean off the board. That way it's fresh, clean, and ready to mount a new card reader. Alright, so next we're going to take a look at what goes on in the card reader. As you can see, because these pins are a little bent out of shape, they may not make proper contact with the back of the game. This could create problems in reading the game and enjoying the game. And now this is how the game should go into a card reader. So we're going to want to match these two tabs on the back of the card reader with the two holes on the top of the motherboard. And we're just going to make sure it's a snug fit and that it can't be moved around too easily. Now I'm just going to use my soldering iron to tack it on. Not too much though. Now we bring out the heavy guns. We really tack it down. But I'm using the metal tool as to not burn my finger, because my finger is not heat resistant. Then I just test to make sure the game can go in and out. The next part of the soldering is going to be shown under a microscope. You don't really need one, it just makes it a little easier. And in order to set up this camera, I lose an eyepiece on my microscope, so as you could see it's a little sloppy. The other tool I'm using is called some just call it a solder tool. It just helps you orient the pins. When you're moving these pins, manipulating them, you got to be careful because it's a very thin metal and the heat makes it very malleable. So you can actually tear the pins off the card reader. And to repair just like one pin, it's not always easy. So just be gentle, treat it like a rental, and take your time. And you could always go back and fix it, which I end up doing without the camera. So that's what it looks like when you actually use both eyepieces in the microscope. This is it, the moment we've all been waiting for. Now everything just goes back together. I'm not going to waste your time with the technicalities. Just hooking up the screen, tightening it down, hooking it up to my power supply of 3.7 volts. And there it is. It sees the game, and now we can play. So if you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe, and purchase from my eBay store. Thank you, and keep gaming. I don't know. I don't have a cool sign-off line, but just keep up the good work.